Hi everybody! In this video, I will be trying to replicate the prettiest thing that I've ever made. I harvested and dried these flowers and now I'm going to be using them to make some earrings. So I started by picking apart my dried flowers, and the orange ones are Mexican sunflowers, I believe. I found these alongside the road and they have the most stunningly beautiful orange color. They're so vibrant even after drying them, and I love that. And then I have these burgundy looking flowers which are called crown of thorns. These ones I planted. I planted these in a container and I harvested them, dried them, and this is what we have. The original color, as you will see in a second, is more vibrant. It's red. It's brighter in color, but the drying process has changed it a little bit, which is fine because it still has a deeper, rich color. The leaves of the crown of thorns, though, did not dry very well. The color was washed out, unlike the green part of the Mexican sunflower, which I think retained some of the green and looks naturally green. And here is a quick demo of how I dry flowers. That is silica gel, and all I do is submerge the flowers in the gel and leave it for a few weeks. I have a short video up on the channel showing how I dry the Mexican sunflowers. Alright, so it's time to dive in, and I'm using 2 parts epoxy resin, and I'm just pouring small amounts into pour cups because I will be tinting the resin with translucent resin color pigment and a mica powder. One reason is to extend the length of time that the piece remains beautiful. The clear ones I did turned out beautifully, but I fear that they will yellow in the future. The other reason is to give the pieces a different look, even though using the same flowers, because I only have 2 different kinds of flowers here and I wanted to see a variety. I wanted a lot of different looking pieces. So I'm using 3 different colors: pink, blue, and yellow. For the yellow, I used mica powder because I wanted to compare the pigment and the mica powder to see which one I should use in the future. So after getting that done, I am pouring a thin layer of resin into the different cavities of the earring molds. I mostly use 99% isopropyl alcohol to burst the bubbles, and it is a good idea to spray the molds even before putting a layer of resin in because that will help to eliminate the bubbles that are trapped at the bottom of the cavities. And these earring molds that I'm using are very shallow, so if I put in too much resin, it is definitely going to rise above the top of the cavities, which I don't want. That's going to create mess and more work. So after doing that, I'm taking a silicone container, which just happens to be a pendant mold, and I added some resin to it, some clear resin, and I'm coating the different flowers pieces with it before adding it to the cavities in the resin, and that is to reduce the number of bubbles that get trapped onto the flower pieces. And I want you to look how the color of the crown of thorns has brightened. As I added to the resin, the color has definitely been intensified, which is a good thing. I'm not complaining about that. Stay tuned for the end because there is something interesting taking place there. But yeah, I'm loving the vibrancy. So this is what I continue to do. I coated the flower pieces with resin and then I add them to the cavities. At some point I realized that it was taking me so long to add the flower pieces into the cavities, so I needed to pour the rest of the resin that I had in the containers out before it got too thick, because at that point it will create a lot of bubbles that will not come out. Something that I would love to know about you is where you're from. I'd love to know which city and country you're watching this channel from. So please go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. And if you are new to this channel, I am from, you know what? If you are new, guess where you think I am from. Which country do you think I am from? You probably realize that I'm an islander, but which country do you think I am from? Leave a comment below. So this is what we had after the resin has cured, and I am showing you my diamond earrings that the crown of thorns has lightened in color, And it's interesting because it seemed to have happened primarily in that diamond cavity, which is telling me that something scientific happened, but I am not sure what happened. Anyways, after this, I decided to add some metallic flakes to some of the pieces to kind of see if I can enhance the beauty a little bit. But I ended up not really liking it, so I only did a few pieces with it. I feel like the flowers were just so vibrant and pretty, they can stand alone. And at this point, all that's left is to top up the cavities, to fill them up, and to create a domed effect at the top. So I'm filling it above the top of the cavity so that it has that domed look. I have to say that this project has been one of the most pleasant ones that I've ever done. I must say that there's something particularly satisfying about having your own flowers, drying them, and then creating something with it. I mean, I could make so many other things with them and they would come out looking this pretty. I just feel like the extra step makes the whole process extra special. So maybe that's why it makes me feel so good. It has now been several hours. The resin is cured and our project is practically complete. The unmold is usually the most exciting part of the video, but because these pieces are turned face up, we're already seeing the finished product. So the only exciting part really is probably what is underneath that tray. I am doing an alcohol ink experiment, so that is something that you can stay tuned for. So going forward, I will be doing so much more flower in resin type projects because I love the results so much. I'm going to show you close-up pictures of the different pieces so that you can get a better look at what they look like. As for the color of the resin, I love the way the translucent pigment makes the pieces look. They are clear, but you see the tint. The mica powder, however, has the sparks, the shininess in it, and I feel like that takes away from the finished pieces. All right, thank you for joining me today. Thank you so much for spending your time getting entertained or getting educated about something. I appreciate your presence, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a restful night.